Hello, I'm EnterElysium, and welcome back to World War K. Right now, we are launching the beginnings of our Rod from God station, this being the core section. It doesn't actually have any rods on it as yet. It's basically a big cylindrical thing which we're going to staple the rods onto the side. It's going to house 4 rods on each side, maximum, so at the moment we're probably just going to outfit it with like 4 on each side, no, 4 on opposite sides, sorry, so 8. And it'll have 2 spare docking ports, so we can always dock more. Which, you know, should be fine. 8 Rod from Gods is fairly good. Anyway, a lot of people were like commenting on Project Thor Rod from God thing last week, so I thought, you know, I'd expand a bit on it this week. The Rod from Gods and so on were going to be made from tungsten, and someone was like, why don't we make them from titanium? Ah, that's a good question. Well, tungsten is quite dense. Well, it's really dense. And it's also got a ridiculously high melting point. I think it's the highest melting point of any metal. It's 3,700 degrees-ish Kelvin. Of course, that being about 3,400 and something degrees Celsius. So it's pretty damn hot it has to be to melt, which makes it great for re-entry at ridiculously high velocities. Unlike, say, titanium. Titanium, on the other hand, is really good because it's strong. Yeah, it's strong, okay? It's got the highest strength-to-weight ratio of any metal. However, we don't really want that from a Rod from God. We also want density. We want nice high density so that it's got a small cross-section area but a high mass so that its impact force is higher. Because, of course, force is acceleration times mass. Acceleration is gravity, mass is variable. So let's have a nice high mass, but a small cross-sectional area, so we want high density. So we go from tungsten, nice high density. But titanium is actually really light. Well, comparatively. It's really strong for its weight, which is great, but we don't want that. We don't want, like, light and strong. We want dense and also really high melting point. Titanium, on the other hand, has got a lower melting point than tungsten. And it loses a lot of its strength, and now we're just launching the quad stack separator with the rods on board. Anyway, getting back to the subject, yeah, titanium actually loses a lot of its strength after just over 400 degrees Celsius, I think. It starts to lose its strength, so kind of not really that useful for a Rod from God where it's going to be going in at high speeds. So that's why we don't want to use titanium, really. Disadvantage, of course, being that tungsten is more expensive. Tungsten being quite rare, whereas titanium's like the 9th most abundant element, or is it the 9th most abundant metal in the Earth's crust? Probably metal. Anyway, so yeah, you can see here we've got the quad stack separator with the 4 different payloads. Each one of them is just a small fuel tank attached to a LV-45T rocket, probe core, SAS unit, and a battery. I didn't even bother putting a reactor on because the batteries are much lighter, so I was like, well, go for lightness, because of course KSP, unlike real life, the aerodynamics and the density and stuff aren't really an issue for our Rod from God. So you can see here, just pushing out. I did actually spend a little while going like, oh well, we should fire off at the right time to intercept the thing in geostationary orbit, and we should try and like make sure we get it when it's coming overhead. And then I realised, because I was very tight at the time, well, that's never going to happen because being a geostationary orbit, it's always going to be in the same position. So yeah, I almost made a boo-boo there. That would have been really bad if I caught that on film, eh? You can see here we're just finishing off our burn. Geostationary orbit does make it really easy to get a rendezvous though, because all you have to do is burn up to it and then burn towards target. Negative velocity towards target, negative velocity. So skip straight ahead to actually where we're getting closer. Otherwise we'll be going on forever this episode. Now, we did talk about, and people suggested last week, if we use some sort of shrapnel decoupler effect. So by using radial decouplers, I could use, I could basically, as the rod came down, oh crap, going a little bit faster, so it burned a little bit off. Anyway, by using radial decouplers, when we got like a couple of 100 meters from the ground, we could fire them off and use them as an area effect. The issue, of course, being... Oh crap. No! Yep. I managed to take out a couple of solar panels. That wasn't good. Ooh. It took out another. Yeah, that's what happens when you've got your SAS unit on and you want the smart SAS to flip you over. That didn't go so well. Anyway, we're docked, and we do the same for the other side. Just skip right ahead to when we've got the second one incoming, because you don't see another launch like that. It's just the same thing. So yeah, we don't really need the couplers on here, mainly because I wanted to use the quad stack separator because it looked cool. So we're lacking in the area effectability. Anyway, that's the finished station. Now, onto a building. Dun dun dun. Now, what we're going to be building here is basically a simple light Kethane probe to go and scan the moon for Kethane. We'll launch it into a nice polar orbit, get lots of pings, nice low altitude, and basically cover it, and then we can choose where we're going to start our Kethane base on the moon. We'll need to defend that, so we'll need to put down some turrets and stuff as well, but it should be cool. Anyway. Oh, I've called the station Olympus because many reasons. Right. Project Thor is about the Norse Lightning God. Well, Norse Thunder God. So, Olympus being where Zeus lived, Zeus being the Greek god who throws lightning bolts at people. So there's a connection there. Mainly, I went with Olympus because we've already have an established theme that we're going to be using names of mythological weapons for our ships. So, since stations are kind of places, we can use mythological places for our stations. Seems logical to me. Here we go. I'm just adding some SRBs to this because it doesn't really have a very good thrust-to-weight ratio to begin with. Actually, it's a pretty awful thrust-to-weight ratio to begin with. May have overdone it on the fuel a bit. And I've labelled it a Kerbal Sphere of Influence probe. I think it's got a little bit more delta V than that. And let's launch it. In daylight, because otherwise you won't see it. That's a good point. I'm trying to remember that each time now. It's really hard for you guys to see the shots in the dark. Up, up, up it goes! MacLeod does seem to be a pretty good job of launching this one. So yeah. Also, someone suggested last week we call the Elysium Stick space station Purgatory, because it's the meeting between the Elysian, so the warrior's heaven in effect, and the Styx, which is the entrance to the Greek underworld, so call it Purgatory, which was an amazing idea. So the Elysian Styx low orbit space station is going to be called Purgatory. So we've got Olympus and Purgatory now. Which is pretty cool. It's probably like one of the best suggestions I've actually had from a viewer, so thank you very much to you. Right, we're getting into orbit. And we've got plenty of delta V left. I think we're probably still going to have the quad section after this. You can tell the solar panels at the front, they're 2x3s. I thought I'd put on the 1x6s, so I put on 3 of them on each side. So they actually kind of clip because they're the bigger ones. Not that solar panels clipping actually does anything, it just looks a bit weird. It seems to be fine. They'll probably just get like reduced coverage because they'll be shadowing each other. But that's fine, that's fine. I want to try something new with this orbit we're doing. So we're going to do a polar orbit, we're just going to get into orbit, but then we're going to push up and get an inclination of 90 degrees, so we go over the poles. It should allow us to scan everything. We'll be just above 10 kilometers in height, so we'll be able to do it super fast, which means we'll only skip the odd square because the way the thing works. But it means we'll be able to do a rough scan much quicker. However, if, when we're on the boundary between the shadow side and the light side, so the, what's it called? The Terminator? I think it's called the Terminator. Not Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, it's not like, I'll be back. It's like scientific Terminator between the light and the dark. I think it's called that. Anyway, once we're there, if we do our 90 degree burn there, we should be able to be going around on that boundary, and we should, in theory, always face the sun. Because the moon will rotate under us, but our orbit will remain sort of the same way around facing the sun. Or Kerbal. In theory. Which, you know, is good for us because we're always in the sun, so we always get the light for our solar panels. So we can continually run the detector. Not that going in the dark side would be an issue, really, I'll be honest, because we have, like, a bunch of batteries and solar panels, so we should be able to go through the dark side and then back out in the light side and recharge. I made sure to design the probe based upon that. But it'd be interesting to see if we can actually manage it. And there we go, we're done with the quad separator? The quad separator? The quad stage, yes. And just letting MacLeod do the next node, just because, you know, might as well. It's also a lot quicker to do it for these sort of very mundane tasks of just slightly circular, just slightly circular. Especially when you've got a very high thrust to weight ratio, and if just tapping the key yourself might end up with like massive changes in orbits, which isn't any good. And bam! There we go, there's our 90-degree orbit. Isn't it pretty? Just trying to figure out which way I should rotate it. That'll probably be fine. There we go. Turn that on. This is the first time using the new Kethane version, I'll be honest. I haven't used the Kethane one before now with the hexagon tile set. I really like it. The hexagon tile sets are awesome. It's a great way to give you a visual depiction. And skipping ahead, this is the roughly finished moon. Now if you look over here, you can see this rough Kethane patch here. It's not as bright, but there is actually like a little crater to the left-hand side of that. That, I think, is where we'll set up our base, because it's on the equator, so less delta V needs to get up and get an equatorial orbit. And, you know, it's got some Kethane, and also the bottom of the crater is hopefully going to be shallower and less bumpy, so it'll be good for landing in. So, that's our target now, right about there. Okay. So, let's go build our drill thing. Right, the idea for this is Kethane drill, let's make it mobile, let's put it on a rover. Let's also put the converter on the rover. And I was like, well, then how do we transfer all the resources to the resource bus that's going to go into orbit, refuel whatever's up there, and then come back down? And I was like, Kerbal attachment system? Because I really like the Kerbal attachment system. I've used that loads. However, that's currently undergoing revision for the next version. The next version will not be save compatible. So, we're not using that. So how do we transfer all the resources across? Well, there is this thing you can do with docking ports, and you can make them the same height, but then it's weird trying to figure out like what height is the same height. Lots of fiddly experimentation, and even then it's a bit tetchy. So, I have a cunning plan on this one. Of course, here you can see me putting on wheels one by one, because we're not in the spaceplane hangar. If I put them on here using the symmetry, one of them will be facing upwards and one of them will be facing downwards, so it won't really work. Monopropellant there is being put in those little tubular things, which is a bit annoying because there isn't a Lackluster Labs sort of rectangular monopropellant tank at the moment, which is annoying. It's just weird because I swear there used to be. Anyway, a couple of thrusters there. I'll explain their purpose in the future. There, you notice they're at the front and facing down, and then we've got our engine on the back, which won't be any of that. It's going to be that because it's a nice big nuclear engine. And just playing around MacLeod. You can see the solar panels on top are they're going to be our main way for charging the batteries. Ta-da! And this is our cunning plan for being able to dock. You take one Inferno Robotics set of hingy things, what they call it, servos, I think they're called, and you put a junior docking port on the end, but then you flip the other one so that it moves in the opposite direction, and watch. Voila! Isn't that beautiful? So it'll be able to basically move the docking port up and down. I've also put one on so it can move it side to side slightly, so if the docking port's slightly turned from us, we should be able to get it. And still keep it parallel to its target. See, this is my cunning plan. So, let's have a go at launching this. Ta-da! Orange tanks galore, couple of solid fuels. Pretty standard. The wobble isn't so standard, that comes out extra, I'll be honest. And that costs extra. Let's try that again. This time with more struts, because when something goes wrong in KSP, half the time the answer is more struts. That's pretty much my conclusion on things. So, we've launched up, we've dropped a load of the orange tanks already, because of course we're using asparagus staging, so they're each feeding into the next one. Drop that one, there we go. It certainly looks very special being taken up like this rover. Anyway, the idea basically, I'll explain now since we're in flight, is that MechJeb will take us in to land, and will take us in arse first, because it assumes it's a normal sort of cylindrical, drop me down on my arse, landing legs down, space station thing, spaceship. So, MechJeb will come down onto its arse, and then, when it's like a metre off the ground, we abort MechJeb, we take control, we use the RCS to push ourselves over, which is why there's a load of RCS on the top there. And then, as we're falling, we turn on those front rockets to slow our descent, so that the front wheels kiss the ground nice and softly. Okay? Make sense? Probably not. Okay, might have scripted explanation, but anyway, we're at the moon now. So, we're going to let MechJeb do the descent, because MechJeb's really good at getting your target. Sometimes it's iffy with specially designed craft like this, so I'm being very careful. I just want to really see if MechJeb can do it. No orbital inclination changes needed because it's on the equator, which is amazing. MechJeb seems to be having a lot of fun with flipping the craft around. I think it's because the craft was like within 100 meters, and then it found that by flipping the craft around it could actually change the landing spot by a few hundred meters. Which of course is completely contradictory to Newton's laws, but KSP is a game. It only goes so far in its realism. Other points are subject to game engine. And here we go. I've just rotated it so that it's like flat to the ground. One issue I'm having, if you look at the probe core now, it doesn't say we're going to be landing on the ground. It's like, oh, you're going to be landing on your side. The probe core apparently thinks that the long edge should be up the side and the short edge should be flat to the ground, whereas we've got the other way around, so it's got a lower centre of gravity. Which is annoying. It's going to make it a complete bitch to control as we come in to land. And right now I'm sort of getting iffy about when we're landing because I can't see a texture, so I'm like, how close are we to the ground? And then MechJeb like kicks in with the engine, and I'm like, oh, whew, thought we were going to die there. That wouldn't be good. Came all this way for nothing. Probably should have some sort of real altitude up. Oh. And the MechJeb gets very forceful with it. Maybe it's just celebrating. Maybe it's like, woo, yeah, we got here. I'm going to fire off all your RCS into a flip. I mean, I completely, like, lost it when that happened. I was like, what? What are you doing? MechJeb, stop being so silly. Altitude, there we go, and 14 meters. Don't really need that now, I can basically see it. You gonna land? Nope. Okay, well, we're gonna take over then. So, abort the auto landing, and then push forwards. Go, 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 go. Oh crap, I forgot the probe core's turned. Ah! Okay, we're going down, going down. I completely forgot that the probe core was turned, and then I screwed up, and then I forgot about the engines. We had to accelerate ourselves. Not that we needed them. It looks like we've landed fine, and we can still sort of move, which is good. Although I think, yeah, we may have done that tyre in the front left one. It looks like it might be broken. Let's look. Yeah, the front left tyre's gone. But yeah, this is the Kethane miner in action. And you can raise its little docking adapter thing. And the solar sails, well, not solar sails, they're not sails, but they look a bit like sails because they're on the back. The solar panels work really well. And the drills are going well. So I think, overall this went well. Because it's really swell. But war is looming. Turns out there are Nat tanks headed into the Styx Dominion. And the Styx Corporation have asked for our help in sorting out this problem. So, using the Olympus station, we're going to take out the convoy. So, decouple. I like how they leave. It's nice and gentle. So, just do a quick retrograde burn. And then we use land at target to just make sure we get close-ish with this burn. Basically, I'm not using land at target because it's completely crap at doing high-speed landings. But it can do the last little burn itself, which is nice. We'll have to manually fly it in. Now, the problem I have with these is they're very uniform. You don't know which way's up, or at least which is the top on the nav ball on the actual probe, which is annoying. So it's kind of difficult to control these. Now for this one, I'm just planning to use point to target and then just burn hard and see if that works, because in theory, if we point at the target and we burn it, we should reduce our distance from target. MacLeod, of course, is saying that our distance from target is like 20 meters-ish, so that's cool. I can dig that. Here we come. Some ferocious speed. Breaking the sound barrier. Not quite the Mach 10 that the Project Thor was envisioning, but loading range. And no, we're gonna overshoot. We're gonna overshoot. We're gonna overshoot. Outfield. I think the main issue there was I trusted MacLeod's point at target too much, whereas I should have been paying a bit more attention to where I felt we were going and the actual distance to target information that I've been provided. So let's fire for the second one. It comes up beautifully and then it sort of clips something and then does that. Whoops. So, let's set up a node to fire retrograde. Set as target. Put that in a lot. Probably too much, actually. Show landing prediction. Yeah, you can see our landing prediction is way far away. There you go. All we need to really do is get close, and then we can let MacLeod do the last course correction. But I like to do, as close as I can, humanly possible. I realise I don't have all the data that MacLeod has and all the sensitivity that MacLeod has, but kind of nice to try and get most of the targeting yourself. There we go. Look at that. 100 meters away. Pretty sweet. And we'll let MacLeod do it because MacLeod will want something on this. It'd be kind of bad if I screwed up the node because it wasn't sensitive enough. Because this is such a high delta V, it's so light with just a big engine and fuel tank that even small taps on the keyboard can change your landing location, landing site. Predicted landing location, predicted landing coordinates, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, by a kilometre or two, so don't really want to have to do that. just continue to the orbit burn. And bam! Well, ish bam. Bow bam, there we go. Now, just skip ahead to when we're coming in. It's now in the dark side, so it's going to be hard for you to see. I'm sorry about that. But you can still at least see the target coordinate there. That nice little icon. Right, there we go. Re-entry effect. Now, the original idea behind Project Thor actually was bunker buster type quarter-ton tungsten rods. But there were several other ideas involving dropping like a meter long tungsten rods that would be used for like anti-armor purposes, so anti-tank and so on. Oh, here we go, we're coming in. Ooh, we're going to overshoot. We're going to overshoot. Oh no, we're not going to overshoot. We're going to be low. We're going to be south. Burn up. But nope, we're going to be north. Ah, damn it. Okay, next one. So yeah, now the great thing about Project Thor, really, from a military point of view, is that they're basically invisible to radar because they move so fast, they have such a small cross-section area, and the plasma sheathing around them as they re-enter makes them basically invisible to radar. So you don't get any response time whatsoever and they can strike anywhere. That's pretty much the long and short of it. Now, of course, the many disadvantages are incredible expense, and, well, yeah, they're really expensive for, like, taking out a tank or whatever. So much more expensive than anything else, really. But saying that, some things cost a lot of money, like javelin missiles and so on. Are they like 100k each or something stupid? Oop, here we go. We're in loading range. We're going to be behind, I think. So burn forwards a little bit. Burn up, maybe. Burn up, quick, quick, up, up, up. Yes, it's a hit. Oh, oh, we just clipped the front and took out that panel on the front. Damn it. I could have sworn that was going to be a hit. Anyway, this is the fourth one and the last one. We don't want to waste our entire salvo. We've already got 8 and we want the other 4 for, like, at least deterrent purposes. Because it'll, you know, be a deterrent for them doing a lot of stuff. If we completely char our entire hand and waste it on this convoy, then the NAT are going to be like, ah, well, nothing to fear now. So we don't want that to happen. There we go. I'm just trying to use the predicted landing site location to tell me if I need to burn anything. So coming in now, very, very gently trying to sort this out. 12 meters difference from target, so you know we're doing pretty well. Maybe we should put some RCS on, that way we could have got a bit more of an accurate landing. Right, 9 meters from target. Here we go. Moment of truth. Last shot. Looking good. Burn, 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 burn. It was a hit. And yeah, nothing happened. Oh. I think maybe fast-moving projectiles suffer the same issues against ground targets as they do against, say, space targets. When we tried to do the ICB intercept, we found the projectiles went straight through because of the speed. I think that may be happening with the ground targets as well, because we're going so fast, we're just going straight through and hitting the ground. Damn. Oh well, Project Thor, our Olympus station, is not as effective as I would have thought it would be, which is a shame. Damn it. Anyway, I've been EnterElysium, and this has been World War K. Next time, we'll take some sort of... put some turrets on the moon, yeah, we'll make some turrets and put the turrets up there, and we'll also try and, you know, maybe like a habitation block or something. Anyway, I've been EnterElysium, and stay shiny, everybody.